keep me waiting down here, so far below, staring up from the bottom, up from the bottom. I'll try escaping, but there's nowhere to go. Staring up from the bottom, up from the bottom. Each time I hold my fists inside my pocket.
With a massive post-Grand Slam landscape in front of us tonight, we welcome you to Lioness Live 20 as the beginning of the road to Rebound begins for the Lioness Division. And my god, do we have a lot on deck for this evening, not even just because of what we saw, but especially in our main event tonight, as after several months of being away, the Deadlock Rebel Ashe will finally be in action after returning at the draft to face Chie Satonaka. And coming up tonight, following her crushing loss to Asuka Langley at the Grand Slam, we will see and hear from the Avatar herself about her future. As always, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Chloe Troublemaker James at your service for this evening. And my god, we're kicking things off right with major action in place as Roxy Richter, one of the newer members of the Lioness Division from the previous season, you may remember her from the Lion's Den tournament back in the day, is once again starting off Lioness Live season here tonight, as she is going to be facing off against someone who, over the past season a bit, has definitely been wanting to turn a bit of a different branch for herself as of late, and that is in one Ellie Williams, the Firefly herself. For those who remember, Ellie Williams has definitely been having quite an interesting season in a bit. You can definitely still hear a little bit of the crowd, just a little bit mixed on the Firefly. But one thing you can't take away from her in regards to this is the fact that after everything that she has done over her tenure here in the All-Star Call League, she's definitely been wanting to change things up around here in terms of her own perception. We saw that last season, in particular when while she did cross paths with Clementine, her notable former tag team partner now turned enemy in a sense. You can definitely tell that she's been a lot more hesitant as of late to really strut down those roads that we've seen her go through in the past. She's really been hesitating going for those more cheap tricks, that she's been less vicious than she was when she was a member of Spiral, and even during her breakout year as a member of the Determinants. Like, you can definitely see it on her face. Maybe she is finally wanting to make that change for herself. And maybe that this is the season for her to do that. Nevertheless, these two are starting off our season in combat here tonight. Let's take it on. Setting it off right and going right for it in the middle of the ring. Ellie immediately getting the first strikes in. Roxy not even managing a strike out of her. Right there with that suplex in return. And the crowd is all in on Ellie Williams right here, and the assault that she is bringing on to Roxy Richter here tonight. And I take back that comment I was saying a little bit ago about the viciousness. Oh, God! Maybe I should be saying that more about Roxy, because the way she's dishing out the damage right now, but oh God, I spoke too soon. Ellie's right back to it again. Setting her up for the corner, bringing her right in, Rebound, setting her up on the ropes just like that, and oh! Kneeing her right in the face, and Ellie Williams. I think I need to take back what I said about the Firefly in the Lioness Division not being as vicious as she was back in the day. She still has that vicious streak to her. It's more a case of her being more reserved about it. And meanwhile, you got Roxy here on the other hand, just trouncing on her in the corner the minute that she has a chance to do so. And really, say what you will about Ellie, say what you will about how she's been, but the tide has quickly turned, and just as I say that, maybe I should shut my mouth here for a moment, because Ellie is immediately turning the tide, and as soon as I even think that, Roxy's back into it. And really, it's been back and forth between the two now, given everything at this point. Ellie is definitely showcasing that while she can still be vicious, she's not as bad as she used to be. Oh, God. I mean, this is the very same person who went to hell and back in Last Moment in Hell against Clementine. Maybe I should be shutting my mouth a little bit in that regard. But she's thinking maybe she's done enough, and only getting a 1 count, and Ellie can't believe it, and I think Roxy's a little bit pissed there that she even tried to go for the pin after all said and done. Getting her up on the ropes again, and oh God, she's going right back for their surfboard, stomping her down onto the mat. Christ! And Roxy just got back up like it was nothing. Roxanne Richter just got right the fuck up like it was nothing, and she's just like, what's she gonna do? What's she gonna do? And as it turns out, Roxy is giving Ellie a little bit of a taste of her own medicine, stomping her down and laying down onto the arms, which is arguably really good way to being able to neutralize Ellie Williams with that one, because if you can neutralize those arms, that takes away a fair chunk of Ellie's ability in the ring, and that nullifies her ability to bring out Left Behind or even the Last Note Nightmare, and especially that tarantula of hers. And really trying to wear down on Ellie Williams at this point, but Ellie getting right back out of it with a forearm reversals just like that, wearing and dishing out the damage, throwing Roxy out onto the outside there. And if she ain't careful, I was about to say if Roxy isn't careful, Ellie might very well take advantage of this match. But I think I need to say that for Ellie instead, because look at her. She is just having the tide turn on her just like that again. See, this is why you immediately do not count out either Roxanne Richter or Ellie Williams in contest, because these two have proven over the last few years why they are some of the most hardest hitting girls in this division. I mean, Roxy is an evil X for a reason. Oh God, a stomp right there from the corner onto Roxanne Richter, and Roxy kicks out after that. But Ellie, nonetheless, has been through so much worse both in the ring and out of the ring. This is nothing to her. Nerd salt. Roxy gets out of the way in the nick of time with that one there. But Ellie, on the other hand, looking to set her up in a Snapdragon suplex just like that. A Snapdragon just like that right by Ellie Williams there. Maybe, and I was about to say maybe that's her signaling for the end, but no, Roxy setting her up and flipping her down with a roundhouse right to Ellie just like that. This is where things could get disastrous from either side at this point, especially if Ellie isn't careful. Those kicks right to the head, signaling hard there, but Ellie on the other hand getting out of it. Stomping her down just like that, and either way at this point. It could go either way for either of these women at this point. Ellie on the other hand, she's thinking something dangerous. She's thinking something bad. Oh, setting her up. No! Wailing onto Roxy Richter. Instead of going for the tarantula, just punishing Roxy Richter within those ropes where she can't move. And really, the crowd is absolutely adoring this, but Roxy thought for a second that she was going to be able to sneak attack onto Ellie there for a second. Ellie thinking, no, I'm thinking I got to take her ass out now. And really, if I'm Ellie at this point, I'm looking at ending this sooner rather than later before Roxy can try and get her wind back. But the Savant roll right there, and another Savant roll, but once again, that Roxy seemed to have been prepared for that one, wailing and sending Ellie into the corner. wailing onto her with those kicks. And no, wait a minute, wailing her into the corner, lariat. And the combination right there by Roxanne Richter. Wailing down hard onto the Firefly as the Evil X definitely is looking to punish her with another Enziguri assault into the corner. Ellie needs to find an opening and quick, otherwise it may be lights out for her. Roxy's got her on the ropes and Ellie getting her ass back into gear. Looking to... No, Roxy going right for those kicks again, rolling her down onto the ground. And a snapback for good measure right onto Ellie Williams. And to think this is only our opening contest, ladies and gentlemen, we still have a lot more action in play here tonight for this hour that we have you for here tonight for Lioness Live. And it looks as though that there's a lot more going on as we turn our attention back into the ring. And Ellie throwing Roxanne down onto the mat, going for a twisted corkscrew. Ellie Williams with the surprise twisting corkscrew from out of nowhere. And no, Ellie, no, Roxy. Ellie, Roxy, both of these women are going at it from pillar to post at this point. It's all a matter of who on earth is going to be the one to break out and win at this point. And I think if Roxy's going for what I figure, it might be her, and it's the pounds! And the combination after the pounds to insult to injury, that is not it! Ellie Williams got more fire into her than we all thought. Roxy's gonna have to work hard, I think, in order to take her down for the count at this rate. If Ellie can survive the pounce, I think she can survive anything that Roxy's gonna throw at her at this point. And we're seeing it in place with those hard-hitting kicks right there by Roxy Richter. Continuing to deal out the damage here, and a foot stomp at the top of the rope. 1, 2. Only nets Roxy a 2 count. She's already done a fair amount of damage at this point to Ellie, but Ellie telegraphed that, setting her up and putting her back into place. Setting up Roxy into the corner just like that, laying her flat, and no! Setting her back up into the ropes. Oh, and another knee right to the face. And given the advantage that Ellie has had all match, one has to wonder, oh God, she's setting it up and into place. Left behind! 1, 2, 3. We all saw that, right? We all saw that right at the end. Ellie didn't realize it, but Roxy's hand was on the ropes there. She had the hand on the ropes. One has to wonder if this is gonna lead to anything.
Everyone's been asking me since the Grand Slam a whole bunch of questions about the next steps of my career. I mean, it's obviously something that would have had to come up sooner or later, given what happened, right? Well, as you can see, I might be a little banged up still, but I'm alive and kicking. Asuka didn't take me out again so soon, thankfully. But I'm abiding by the stipulation of the match, and as such, I will never again challenge for the Lioness Championship, so long as ACL continues to be around. My legacy with that belt has come to an end. However, the mission statement I made going into the Grand Slam wasn't to become a 3-time Lioness champion. It was to end the Newtype, once and for all. And that mission statement hasn't changed one bit, especially given that Asuka still has that belt and her goons are still lurking around. So, in retaliation, I've decided to bring my own army in their front door to take them out for good. I'm building myself a team. A new team avatar. For those of you who know my history, you know what Team Avatar means to me. They were some of the closest, strongest, and most trusted people in my life, and then some. But while I can't bring the old gang with me here to take down this threat, I sure as hell am gonna build a new team on that same level. So, in the coming weeks, I'm gonna be on the lookout for those to join me. If I think you've impressed me, or if I feel you're a good fit, you'll get your call from me to join. I'll leave it all in your hands if you accept. But know, if you do, that I trust you, and if you break it, I'll consider it an act of violence. But for those who do join my ranks, you'll be the woman who I have helped me take down this threat once and for all. So, Asuka, Catra, Miu, Holly, you four better be ready for a war and then some, because I'm bringing the fight right to your door until you're all gone from our division.
And a blockbuster announcement right there from the Avatar. Bringing up a new team avatar, and almost as if on cue, we get two of the names that she brought up in that regard alone. The former Lioness Tag Team Champions who thankfully lost the belts to Will and Hei Lin at the Grand Slam. Miu Iruma and Catra, Project Egomania of the Newtype, lost those belts in dominant fashion in that ladder match, thanks to help from the rest of the Lioness Division. Now, while they aren't technically scheduled to be out here tonight, we are getting word that apparently that, despite what we just heard from the Avatar, they do want to make a talking point about what happened at the Grand Slam themselves, and they want to discuss their own future in that regard as well. So I guess, what the hell do these two have to say after what they did last season, and especially after what happened at the Grand Slam? Guess we're about to find out.
I think it's clear by now that as far as our Grand Slam went, well, it went pretty shitty. I think we could admit to that.
Yes, we did falter at the Grand Slam, and we're not your current Lioness Tag Team Champions. But in my mind, we were the most dominant tag team champions in quite some time, and the fact we had to have 3 other teams take us on to get them off of us is unfair. So, if Mai Valentine was any kind of general manager, she would see to it that we get a rematch against Will and Hei Lin tonight for those belts.
You know, I really thought you two would have learned by now that if I cannot stand anyone in my own division, it's your group of miscreants. So why on earth do you think now, of all times, I'd be wanting to give any of you another chance at the belts you sullied so awfully? However, since this is our final season, I am feeling a bit adventurous in my decision-making. So I will grant you a chance to get another shot at those belts once more. If you beat this team right here and now.
Wait, what? Wait, who the hell has Mai got up for these two in particular? I don't recognize this music, but... oh my god! Ladies and gentlemen, if you paid attention to last season, then you recall a certain Luz Nocita and Amity Blight from the Lion's Den tournament making their debut here tonight on Lioness Live for the Lioness Division. It's 2 women who definitely made an impact in that tournament, and on their opening night in the division, they are being given a shot at the Lioness Tag Team titles, potentially, if they can beat Miu and Catra here tonight. Now, I'm not saying Mai Valentine being adventurous, given the fact that this is the last season and all, is a bad thing, but, Well, if we're getting stuff like this season, Mai, please be a little bit more adventurous, please. Keep it up. But ladies and gentlemen, our next contest of the evening is Project Eager Mania versus Lumity, and it's being made official. Whoever wins this match will face off against Will and Hei Lin at Rebound for those tag team titles. Now, I do just want to say something here right now. For those that did see the Road to Recovery special or did pay attention during our Season 6 coverage, y'all would remember that one of the matches that many were hyped up for as part of the tournament that we did showcase was Lumity versus Witch. So, in a way, if we do in fact see Lumity win here tonight, we may very well see a tag team rematch from the Lion's Den 2 tournament face off again, and on the same night that we get a rematch from Lion's Den 1 at Rebound in the Lioness Championship when Ashe faces off against Asuka. Just something to keep in mind as we go on this match, but getting into the contest itself, it's already quite the interesting match as Miu gets tagged in, and we see the most overused tag team maneuver in virtual wrestling today, the drop toe hold into an elbow. And there's hard-hitting headbutts right to the skull of Luz Nocida by Miu Iruma. Already a hard-hitting match from the word go. Now, I'm definitely going to say this. Definitely a way to throw yourself into the fire, being faced off against these two immediately. That is all I will say on the matter. But it looks as though Luz is definitely rising to the occasion here tonight, even without tagging in Amity as a partner. And as I say that, I feel like I need to keep on saying this, but I keep on having to shut my mouth as Lumity tags in its second half as Amity Blight. Now, barely missing each other. Catra getting double teamed by both members of Lumity in the corner. Not a good start right there by Catra as she faces off against Amity here. And all I will say with this one here, this is already a bad situation to be in after coming off a very bad loss at the Grand Slam, but now potentially having to get punked out by the new kids on the block. Listen, I'm not saying that these two don't deserve it, but oh boy, that's all I'm gonna say here. It would be a bad look after all of that, and you have to think that Asuka Langley is also looking on here. So really, especially given after what happened back at the draft when Asuka Langley got absolutely punked out by a returning Ashe, you have to be wondering if the other members of the Newtype are having the pressure put onto them by their leader, who, for all intents and purposes, could very well be close to what could be labeled a breakdown, as it were, after what happened at Rebound, not at Rebound, but what happened at the draft, and now what she's going to be facing off at Rebound. Like, I would say that I feel sorry for the Newtype in that regard, but I really, and I have to emphasize this, I really fucking don't, actually. And I really don't feel sorry. In fact, I feel great seeing members like Catra, who were the reason why Asuka Langley came to power in the first place as the Lioness Champion, are getting pummeled on by Amity fucking Blight. And once again getting wailed and pummeled on with those Fez presses by Amity right there and sending her into the corner just like that. And it's already not looking good for Catra as Luz is incoming with a shoulder block assist right there by Amity Blight. And right there, just setting it up with the combination of strikes. Catra's not looking good in the slightest, trying her best to make the tag, but Luz intercepts. Catra coming back, however, with the slight assault right there, trying to gain some level of ground in this match to this point. And you can see Luz is not looking good now either. Catra taking control back into the match in favor of the Newtype there, and right there once again laying down the strikes just like that and laying her into the corner. Not looking good for Luz in this regard. Catra could be looking for something bad here. Playing her up top. Looking for something really bad here. And a superplex from the top of the rope. How quickly the tide turns in a match like this. And wait a minute, no, Luz playing possum right there. Catra almost incensed, kicking out before even a count of one could take place. And this is where I feel Catra is definitely letting her incensed attitude come out to play even more. Especially given everything that has happened as of late, you have to imagine that Catra has definitely been close to losing it as of late. And it's not looking good either as Luz gets choked out on the ropes there. Viciously getting choked out with just the bare foot of Catra right there. Not a good sign for Lumity right now. Oh, God! Setting her out with a roundhouse. Luz kicking out at one from that. And you could see it all on Catra's face. She was pissed. She was pissed to have seen that. However, making the tag right there to Miu. And now, Miu's back in. And Luz is once again in trouble because Miu has had a lot of time to rest. She needs to make that tag to Amity sooner rather than later at this point. But Luz trying her best to wiggle her way out and deal some damage. But Miu not allowing it, laying her down with that power slam and immediately following up with the barrage of strikes right to the head. Those punches right to the skull. Looking to wail down on her as best she can. But Luz is being dished out punishment after punishment. And a big right hand. Big right hand by Miu Iruma. Once again getting cut off. And another slap right to the back of the skull. Just like that. Onto Luz Nocida. And Miu was cocky and confident using that moment just to taunt. But that was her undoing. Luz finally gets the opening she needs. Going right back and setting Miu down onto the floor. And oh God, what has she got in store? Oh! Laying her flat down onto the ground. And then finally she makes the tag to Amity. Amity finally making the tag to Miu, getting into the ring with Miu. And now, wait a minute, no, Miu telegraphed it! Strike right to the head, but Amity is not letting it slip for even a second. Getting her off the ropes just like that. And, oh! God, and a massive arm drag right there off the ropes with the assist. And oh God, now dealing out the damage in return, giving Miu a taste of her own medicine in a sense. But Miu has definitely had a lot of more experience in putting that to good work here tonight. Looking to go for that lariat, but lariat denied. Going right back to the strikes, and Miu immediately going right back to it, but Luz. No, Amity takes advantage of it, setting her up, but Miu gets out of it. And it's not looking good. It is not looking good on the part of either. It's not looking good on the part of the Newtype at this point, especially given what we are seeing here and now. Oh no, Miu getting right back up. Really, at this point between the two, it could be anyone's game at this point here, especially given what we've seen so far in this contest, and going right back for the pin, right there onto the side for Catra. Miu kicking out of it, but Catra could have definitely gotten a bit more close to breaking it up there. One has to wonder where their heads are at this point. It's not looking good for Miu at this point. She's being completely oh, wait a minute. Here it comes. We saw this during Lion's Den. Laying her down flat. Laying Miu down flat with that tag team maneuver there. Laying her down flat in that regard, and it's not looking good there. And I'm getting word actually that they call that maneuver that we just saw the Titans Fall. Certainly an interesting name for certain, but certainly fitting given what we are seeing here tonight. But Miu is certainly looking to make that name a bad omen for certain. And it's not looking good on the part of Luz at this point. Getting a striking lariat for good measure at this point, and Catra setting her right back up. Oh, and a massive headbutt right there onto Luz's skull. She's taken so much damage at this point. Oh! Laying her down. One! Amity breaking it up after Catra laid her down flat. Laid her down flat with the Horde Strike. And now it's game. It's realistically anyone's game at this point because we've seen big maneuvers from both sides come out of the woodwork at this point. And Catra definitely bringing out the offensive on the side of the Newtype at this point, especially with the Horde Strike that we saw from her. Really, it's coming down to whichever team can pull out the next big maneuver on either side, because both sides at this point have definitely been erring on the side of caution. But at this point here, it may come down to whoever can break out the next big move on either side, as is tradition in some tag team scenarios in this regard. But really, it is looking much more that unfortunately the Newtype may very well get their tag team rematch against Will and Lynn at Rebound at this point, if things are looking the way they are in this match. I mean, Miu's just pacing around in the ring. Ansley looking to end this at any point. It's looking bad for them at this point. And, oh god, a Hurricane Rana right there by Luz Norcida. And once again, Luz going for that, laying her down with that leg lariat onto the ground just like that. Once again, Luz going for the legs of Miu Iruma, definitely showing that she's done her homework on her opponent here tonight. Looking to lay out the legs of Miu Iruma, because if she can lay those and even potentially lay out the arms of Miu, that will neutralize the Genius Lock. That will neutralize the Genius Lock into effect, but that will still allow her to go for something as vicious as a DDT. Only managing a one by Miu Iruma onto Luz Norcida just like that. And Luz is just slowly getting back up. Catra looking, no! Catra immediately put back into position just like that. She knows for a damn fact it's not looking good. And Luz circling in on those strikes, circling in on Catra's legs. and looking to just wail on her however she can, but it is still not looking good for either side. Smashing her down just like that. Catra definitely ramping up the violence factor here tonight, and it's once again not a good look. The knee right to the skull. Luz is not looking good at this point. She needs to get out of there immediately if she has even an iota of a chance of making it out alive from this contest. But the drop toe hold into the elbow once again not looking good on the side of Lumity here tonight. I mean, this is a very good effort. Let's be real about this here. Luz and Amity have definitely done well in their first night properly as part of the Lioness Division. Nobody will fault for them if they lose here tonight based upon this. They have shown that they can handle with one of the more vicious teams in this division currently. But you have to wonder, at what point do you have to sit with yourself and say, what is there really left for us to pull out? What can we do to put them away? And realistically, I get the feeling it's a question that either side is going to be asking themselves at this point. Especially as Miu shoves Luz into the corner. And oh god, they're looking for it. They're looking for the end right here and now. The calculations are set! And it's looking bad! Laying Luz down too. And just when you thought that these two had it in the bag, when they had it set and matched with a bad reputation, here we go. Here we go. And wait a minute, right in front of me here with the no cedar crush. No cedar crush. From out of nowhere, is that somehow gonna be enough to keep Catra down? I can't believe it! I can't believe it! In their first night in the Lioness Division, Luz and Amity have earned a shot and a rematch against the current Lioness Tag Team Champions, Will and Haylin, at Rebound. What the hell is going on here tonight? No, seriously. What on earth did we just see here? You have to believe with that, Asuka Langley is gonna be pissed as a result.
Yeah, we did a good job tonight, but we can't start slacking now. We gotta keep this momentum going! I mean, after all, we got this far on our first night. We can't afford to consider ourselves made just yet.
A well-deserved victory right here tonight for Luz and Amity. For good reason as well. And after a massive, massive night of action already, and a lot of surprises in store for the Paradigm and the Lioness Division, we are about to get set for your main event of the evening. As we are about to see the #1 contender for the Lioness Championship, the winner of Path to Victory who never got her shot at the title, the Deadlock Rebel herself, back in action tonight after returning at the draft after several months away. Ashe tonight is ready and raring to go. And tonight she faces off against a massive challenger in the form of a former Lioness champion in her own right in Chie Satonaka. And I would argue one of the bigger gatekeepers of this division. Former Lioness Tag Team Champion twice over with Yukiko Amagi as the Iruma Detectives. Chie Satonaka is also a former Lioness Champion and one of the gatekeepers, I would argue, for this division. If there is anyone who I feel would definitely be a good sparring partner for what to expect against Asuka, Langley, Soryu, it would 100% be her, especially given what Chie Satonaka had to face off against her firsthand last season. So one would have to argue that Ashe tonight could very well cement herself in the annals and potentially become a credible threat against Asuka, Langley, Soryu if she wasn't already against Chie Satonaka right here tonight. But these two women are getting set and ready to go in the corners respectively. And here we go. Main event is underway right here tonight for Lioness Live 20. In an already jam-packed evening, as we have said time and time again here this evening, this night has been jam-packed from the word go. I mean, we heard from Korra setting about for a new team avatar. We heard and saw the debut of Lumity here tonight. We saw a massive encounter with Ellie Williams here this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, this week has already been packed with action from all sides of the All-Star Call League, and yet we still have one more show left to go this week already. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to say this, and we're not even done with the week yet. If you thought ACL was dead in the water, think again. We're back, baby. And I'm hyping myself a bit too much here. We still got this massive match still to sit through here tonight, and Chie is putting in the work up against Ashe, but Ashe showing that she hasn't missed a beat since coming back. That she has not missed a beat. Similarly to that of Ranma, who came back here on Millennium earlier this week. We are seeing people who came out, who were injured massively during the last season, coming back and showing that they still have got it and then some. And really, we're seeing all of the hallmarks and skills of the Deadlock Rebel right here tonight, potentially. And especially given for what we have to look forward to at Rebound. Because for those of you that remember the encounter that Asuka and Ashe had, and oh, Jesus Christ! A single-armed powerbomb right there by Ashe onto Chie Satonaka. People at home, can you say powerhouse in the name of Ashe here tonight? Setting her up top. We've seen quite a lot of women go up top tonight already. And it looks as though she's setting it up for a superplex right there onto Chie Satonaka. But Chie, however, taking the advantage onto her side, looking to take advantage of the outside to recoup herself a bit, but she knows she can't stay there for too much longer. If she wants to make it out, if she wants to showcase that she can do it, she has to get back into the ring if she wants to keep this match alive for her against Ashe here tonight. Getting back in, and Ashe taunting her from the ropes, That might have been a bad move from her right there. And a Hurricane Rana in return right there onto Ashe. And this match already has been quite a massive night of it has already been massive on either side. I was gonna say on an already impressive night of action between all involved here in the Lioness Division. And Ashe is but Chie is showcasing true to form that even despite being in the game for as long as she has, despite everything, that she is not going to be denied a win here tonight if she can help it, and she's pulling out everything to do it. 2, no, that was only a 1. No, calculated it just in the nick of time, right as Ashe was going to go for right onto the gut, going for a drop kick instead. Ashe gets out of it, however, flipping out of that gut wrench, and right there into a German. Right there into a bridging German right there by Ashe. Ashe, however, mistimes the knee. And Chie going for a crossface. Going right there for a crossface from out of nowhere onto Ashe just like that. Oh, and socking her right in the mouth for good measure as well. Socking her right in the jaw. And Chie continuing to wail on Ashe here tonight. Wail those strikes right down for the count. And oh! Putting those legs of hers right to good use. If I were Chie right now, I would be thinking, if I'm facing off against someone who has a similar background in being able to strike while the iron is hot and be able to use those legs to her advantage, I'd be finding a way to neutralize those, and fast. Especially given that those legs can be deadly. We've seen it. We have seen it in action in the way that she is able to completely neutralize opponents. And Ashe can definitely do that if she wants to. But at the same time, she has got an arsenal that cannot be denied, and a splash from the top rope shows that off. 1, 2. Only getting a 2 count just like that. But picking up Ashe just like that. No, forearm denied just like that, and Ashe going right back, and a knee right to the gut. And a knee right to the gut. And it's not looking good. Ashe wailing in on the back of Chie Satonaka, trying to neutralize her on every avenue at this point. But Chie coming back around with a punch right to the skull. Ashe, however, ain't looking too good either in that regard. One could argue she's arguably worse for wear than Chie is at this point. But wait a minute, no! Chie locked it in for 1, 2, and here it comes for the Ultimax suplex holds! And when those suplex holds come out, a galactic punt isn't too far behind! And the galactic punt, that combination between the two could not be good. Going for the pin. Has she exhausted her too much? 2. Getting a 2 count after all of that. Ashe laying it out flat. Oh! Ashe laying it all out tonight, putting everything she can to take out Chie Satonaka here tonight. And wait a damn minute! Going right there for the bridging armbar just like that. And Chie the arms of Chie have not been worn down enough for that. She may very well, and wait, no! Ashe saw that springboard coming, got out of the way in the nick of time. Now going right back onto the assault again and laying her down, going for those legs, looking to neutralize them how she can. Right there with that leg lock. But Chie, on the other hand, not denying it, denying further assault to the legs and even using them to good measure while she's at it to try and take out Ashe in that regard. And Chie confident as ever in that regard. You gotta wonder if that's realistically what we're gonna be doing here with this one. And if that is going to be enough even to take out Ashe, all considered here. And really, Ashe hasn't had that much offense in that regard to pull from. Meanwhile, Chie has definitely been taking the dominant stride in this contest this evening, in this main event here tonight. So one really has to wonder where on earth we could go from a match like this, especially given all involved with this one here. And no! Moonsault absolutely denied in that regard. Chie definitely pulling it out on 1, 2. The fact that that alone got her a 2 count has to be raising alarm bells at Ashe. You need to find some way to get an assault in with that one. And wait a minute. Back shot right there. Right there onto Chie Satonaka with the back shot. And she's following it up with the Venom shot. 1, 2. No, no, not yet. There's still a lot of fight left in her just yet with that one. Letting it loose just like that. And yet, Ashe has still not gotten Chie down for the count. But here comes Chie coming up top, and no! Ashe gets out in the nick of time. Going right for the assaults again. Chie. Oh! Ashe not getting out. 1. Only getting a 1. Only getting a 1 out of that. And Ashe, you really have to wonder after everything with this one here. Especially given the fact that, and I know I called it the back shot beforehand, that was not the back shot. That was a mistake on my part. It has definitely been a while since Ashe has been in competition, because I mistook the back shot for the dynamite blow, as she called it. And really, with the way that it landed her head first onto that, it probably felt like a dynamite blow at that. But still, that dynamite blow right into the Venom shot, right there into the Venom shot, really has to make one wonder in that regard. If Ashe... Oh, God! I was about to ask if the Ashe has anything left in the tank after all of that, and still only getting a 2 count in order to take out Chie. But I think I might be about to get my answer in that regard, because they're bringing it right back into the ring, and it's looking bad for either woman at this point. Especially for Ashe at this point, because right now she's being laid down flat in this regard. Right there with a lariat right into the corner. And a splash right there by Chie Satonaka right into the pin. 1, 2. Only getting a 2. And still, the fact that these two women are still going after everything has to speak volumes to what these two are willing to do in order to get the W here tonight. For Ashe, it means getting so much confidence going into her matchup against Asuka in just a few weeks. For Chie, it means getting back on top after everything that she has been through, especially after faltering in the last few seasons. And Chie might be about to potentially put the end to it right here and now if she can potentially take her out with... No! Galactic Punch denied. Ashe played possum into the Venom shot. 1, 2, 3. A massive win tonight for Ashe on her first contest back here in Lioness Live. And massive confidence going to her here tonight as she gets one step closer to Asuka, Langley, Soryu and the Lioness Championship at Rebound. And with a win like that, one has to wonder if she can! Well, speak of the devil and she shall appear, I suppose. Because Asuka, Langley, Soryu definitely is paying a receipt in kind for what happened at the draft. And oh, Jesus Christ. A Cub Sweet Death and massive chair shots right there by our still reigning Lioness Champion and leader of the fucking Newtype at that. Going for those legs as well. Going for those legs that she viciously injured last season. And oh Christ, setting it up. Third impact! And the crowd here tonight, pissed by her very presence. Our Lioness Champion making her presence known regardless. And sending a clear-cut message to Ashe that the receipt tonight was paid in full. And she will be waiting for her at Rebound, despite her victories and her attacks in kind.